So which one did I enjoy? Young Rock or Kenan? It's time to talk about it, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by wearecritics.com, place where I talk about movies, television, and pop culture. And if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe key and a notification bell so you can be up to speed about everything I talk about here. Now, the other night, NBC had dropped their new, pretty big new lineup featuring a show by none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and SNL's Kenan. Kenan Thompson, for those of you who don't remember from Kenan and Kel back in the day. And I come to weigh the differences between the two. I'll give you a gist of the differences between the two, and then I will give you which one I think will last and which one I think may not last, but then may last by default, but we'll get into that later. But let's start with Young Rock. Young Rock stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Randall Park, who some of you guys know as Jimmy Woo, in the new WandaVision series. We all love Jimmy Woo. And it takes place sometime in the future, I think 2023 or something like that. And The Rock is playing himself, who is officially running for office. He's running for I don't know if it's senator or actual presidential campaign. I don't remember, but I just know he's running for office, and to connect with the people and feel a little more grounded so they can understand his story, he's in an interview with Randall Park, and they are talking about his childhood upbringing and what made The Rock The Rock. It's very meta, very on the nose, very on purpose, and very loosely based on his factual history. It's very fictional in some senses, embellished a little bit to cause dramatic effect and humor, but it is following his life and his upbringing as a kid. Then you have Kenan, which is completely fictional of his life, that I'm assuming. He is a widower of 3 young girls. He has 2 daughters, and he also lives with his father-in-law, played by Don Johnson, and he has a friend by the name of Chris Redd. He's a comedian. Some of you may have probably seen him around, probably haven't seen him around, but that follows him. He is a daytime talk show host who is trapping his grief inside. He has yet to let out that grief about losing his wife, who he seems very, very much in love with still, and his daughters are kind of grieving and dealing with this a lot better than he is, as well as his father-in-law. So that's the gist of that. Now, the difference between the two is tone completely. I'm going to just go and say off rip my favorite one out of the two, which is what I kind of expected. I had very high expectations for the series and high hopes. I'm going to give the winner of the Tuesday night lineup to none other than Young Rock. Young Rock knocked it out the park. Don't mean to rhyme, but it just sounds good. But Young Rock knocks it out the park from beginning to end. It's very charming. It's very silly, very... I've said this in the trailer reaction. It's very Everybody Hates Chris-esque, but still original and very heartwarming and very nostalgic and very takes you back to an era for real wrestling fans. It's like a peek behind the curtain. We all love The Rock, and any real wrestling fan that grew up on The Rock, this might be a treat for you to get to see when he was a young kid and how he was influenced into becoming that man that he is today, or the man before he is today, when we just knew him as Rocky, you know what I mean? What he's cooking, smelling what he's cooking. So you get a real gist, and it wasn't like we had to start from when he was young, and then by the time season 1 ended or season 2 begins, we get a much older Rock. They're giving us 3 different generations all at once. They're bouncing from when he's I want to say maybe like 9 or 10, around that, to the time when he's in high school, to the time when he's in college, when he, goes to Miami and he plays football. Like, I thought, man, just when you think that you're just kind of, you're over the rock, you're like, wow, this is fun. I like this. This is cool. Like, you get callbacks to some of your favorite wrestlers that we saw in the trailer. We get the Iron Sheik, we get the Samoans, we get his father, Rocky Maivia. The Junkyard Dog was in this, Andre the Giant, like, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be so much more. The casting was just unbelievable. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I mean, we got a gist of some of that in the trailer, but just seeing these people embody these characters and bring them back to life to tell the Rock story was pretty magical. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed. It was like a 30-minute episode. Flew right by. This is definitely something that I can definitely go back to every week and sit around the TV and watch it. No laugh track. It was a new style comedy, but it just had that thing, like that charm, that little bit of charm, cuteness that just makes this thing work really well. So hat off to The Rock for that. I really enjoyed the show. I think that this is going to be, and it's a good thing that it comes first, because I don't think that the Kenan show, I could be wrong, but it really had a really weak start. The pilot for the Kenan series, which stars Kenan Thompson, we all know from Kenan Kel, who then moved on to become one of the lead writers and longest running cast members on SNL. Shout out to that, because it's a black guy and he's been one of the longest cast members on SNL, and I champion that. I love that. I think that's a great thing. So this story, the story and the heart behind this is awesome. I love the widower storyline, the single dad trying to raise young, beautiful girls, and the father-in-law's in the mix. But I didn't connect to it, and I didn't connect to Kenan's character. Like, it's kind of hard to take him seriously in some roles. Like, I've never seen him do the dramatic thing, and he was trying to go there, but it just didn't hit for me. And again, it has that new style where there's no laugh track, there's no studio audience, and I think sometimes that cue is needed in certain types of things, like when the when the cheer, when the laugh. This thing tries to do it on its own and tries to cue for you, and it just really didn't pull me in. I wanted to like this show because I was like, oh, it's cool, it's about time Kenan's doing his own thing, but yeah, I don't know. But when I said that there was probably going to be one that succeeded and stuck around and one that didn't, but then one that maybe sticks around out of default, I was referring to Kenan's show, because Lorne Michaels, who everybody knows is the executive producer of SNL, he executive produced this as well. So I don't see this just disappearing off the shelf and being put back up on the shelf, I should say. I don't see it disappearing off the air and being put back up on the shelf anytime soon, because of who's in charge of it and who, I think that they'll get a fair run, at least the first season, just to kind of see if it picks up. But compared to The Rock show, this following it was rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I watched Young Rock, and then I watched the Kenan one, and I was just like, nah, this wasn't it for me. So I don't know, man. You guys tell me what you thought. Like, I really tried to enjoy Kenan. I just didn't feel like the heart was there. Like, it didn't pull my heartstrings like I wanted it to. And it didn't even feel like they utilized those kids. Like, those girls, they're gorgeous, they're cute. Like, I could see, us feeling their pain, but they expected us to feel it through Kenan, and I just didn't. And it's not just because he's not good. He's great. I love Kenan. Good Burger is one of my favorite movies growing up, but I just didn't feel that emotional attachment to his character as a widower in this series. So I'm curious to see how well it does and how well it doesn't do. I'll probably give one more episode a shot, because I'm definitely going to be watching Young Rock. I really enjoyed that show. and I didn't really enjoy the Kenan one as much. But the pairing those two together, I think it'll do good. Kenan's going to bring in ratings, period, because he's a likable guy. But I really want to see the show pick up the emotional, because it's a very serious topic. Like, I think it's worth touching. You know, like a widower raising his daughters like by himself and trying to do his career thing and dealing with grief and not dealing with grief and bottling up emotions. Like, I think that's a pretty solid premise, but maybe it just needed a little more time. That first episode was pretty weak. You guys let me know what you thought. If I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, please tell me. Champion the show if you think that it should stick around. Tell me if you think it shouldn't stick around. I'd love to know what you guys felt. How'd you feel about the Young Rock series? Did you think that it was fun? Did you enjoy the callbacks and all the classic wrestlers that were in it? And what you're looking forward to? Like, comment, share, subscribe. And for more movies, television news, movie news, and the podcast Critics Talk, make sure you guys check out wearecritics.com. And I'll talk to you all later. Peace.